So, welcome once again to Behind the Bower. We're happy to be back this morning after missing last week's podcast, kind of due to our inclement weather and the inability for our guests to participate. So, we're very excited to be back. As a reminder to our listeners, the goal of our podcast is to offer inspiring conversations and a fresh look at arts in our community, provide spotlights on artists, performers, collaborative partners, and organizations. In general, we just want to celebrate the universal expression of human experience through arts, culture, and community. And today we're very excited because we're celebrating the kickoff of our performing arts season with the Ghosts of Liberty, who will be performing this Saturday, January 27th at Bower Center for the Arts, beginning at 6 p.m. Something that I like to share is just a little bit behind the bower as to why we offer the arts and culture in our community. And importantly, live music can provide physical, mental, and social benefits to those who participate. And our goal at Bower Center is to bring our community together to experience different musical cultures, experience the power of live music, which can, increase your energy, improve your mood, which we could really use during these winter months, reduce stress, and then just provide connections and fun with others, and overall improve the overall quality of life here in our community. So we're very excited because today joining me are Lauren Hood, our program coordinator with Bower Center, and our special guests, husband and wife duo, Emma and Tyler Millard of Ghosts of Liberty. So good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm actually going to put Lauren on the spot a little bit this morning and just ask her to share with us how she discovered Ghosts of Liberty and coordinated bringing them here to Bower Center.
Yeah, so for our listeners, Ghosts of Liberty are actually from North Carolina, and that's where my family lives currently, is Summerfield, North Carolina, which is right outside of Greensboro, North Carolina. And when we first moved there, what we used to do every weekend during the summers, we used to go watch live music at the parks, because there's Oak Ridge Park and there's Summerfield Public Park. And they would always have live music on different weekends. And recently, I got married last summer, and then my brother went to his first year of college. So my parents became first-time empty nesters. And for those of you who have moved out, you may have experienced that initial guilt of like, oh my goodness, what are my parents going to do without me as they provided their lives, And so, but I soon learned that they were more than okay with keeping themselves busy, and they were going out. And one of the things they absolutely love to do is to continue that tradition of going to see live music. And one of the concerts they went to see was Ghost of Liberty. And I remember on that day they went to go see them, and I was getting just blown up with just 16 videos, 20 photos, paragraph after paragraph. Because I had just started my job at the Bower Center. And so I had mentioned to my parents, like, one of the things I was most excited about was bringing in artists and like getting to coordinate the concerts. And that's something that music is something I'm really passionate about. And so, they sent me all this information on this new band they saw, which is Ghosts of Liberty, and you need to bring them to the Bower Center, and we would go see them in concert, and we bring our friends. And so I checked y'all out. I checked Ghosts of Liberty out, and I watched the videos, and then I started to listen to app music. And after I heard Daddy's Daughter, I 1,000% agreed that they needed to come to Bedford, and Bedford needed to hear them. So now we're here a few days from hosting Ghosts of Liberty, so it's pretty cool.
That's a great story. So let's turn it over to Emma and Tyler, and the two of you tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you came into music.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that story, so that's really cool, Lauren. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we're going to have to give your parents a big thank you, too. That's very sweet. We love our community here. We play every summer. We play at the Oak Ridge Music in the Park, and it's just like an awesome series that they do. Ty, you want to start?
Sure. My journey into music was a little untraditional. I was basically in college at UNCW studying math, and when I was 21, I got into a small fender bender, excuse me, which caused me to just I checked my blind spot and I didn't see anything there, but then there was something there. So, long story short, I was diagnosed with this thing called retinitis pigmentosa, which the main symptom is that your peripheral vision degenerates over time, and then it starts to affect your central vision. And now I pretty much have just like light sensitivity. Like I can see bright lights or windows or things like that in the house. So, so I got that diagnosis when I was 21, and I played a lot of sports when I was younger, and I was like, I might not be able to play sports forever. I better pick up a guitar. I better pick up an instrument. And I was in college, and everybody plays guitar in college. It's just kind of like a rite of passage. Yeah, so I started playing guitar a bunch and singing a little, and then I graduated with a degree with mathematics with teacher licensure. And then I ended up getting another degree, a master's in math as well, so I could teach at a higher level. But by the time I was done with grad school, I kind of realized I was only really pursuing math because it was something I could still do with very little vision. I'd become a progressively worse reader as I'd gone along, and that was probably because of losing peripheral vision. So I had a choice to make at the end of grad school, and the choice I made was to move home and try to do the music thing full time. And so that's what I did. Started picking up gigs here and there, and that was kind of like my mid to late 20s was that period of trying to figure out how to be a professional musician. And then it kind of picks up with Emma's story.
So because that's about 10 years ago is when we met. So going back, I've been sort of like a musician my whole life. I joined the church choir when I was really little. I grew up in Texas. That was kind of my foray into singing. And then my family moved to Maryland, where there were more opportunities because we were closer to like Baltimore and DC and everything. So the Johns Hopkins Peabody School of Music, Johns Hopkins University, has like a children's preparatory program. And I'm forever grateful. At the time, I was really into horses, and I worked at a barn when I was like 11 or 12. And that's like all I wanted to do. Yeah. So my mom pulled me out of the barn one day and was like, we've got to drive to Towson to audition for this choir that your choir teacher tells me that you really should try and get into. And so I went, I auditioned begrudgingly. When I was little, I always felt like I was being pushed into music rather than choosing it myself. But I am grateful for parents that see potential and, sort of like nourish that in their kids, because it was probably the right thing all along. So anyway, that was like a pretty formative part of my life as far as being classically trained in like many part choral arrangements and all different languages we sang. And so it was a really amazing experience. I got to perform with the Baltimore Opera Company in Carmen when I was 13. Wow, awesome. So I had these really cool like life experiences young that I just was grateful to have the opportunity to do. And then meanwhile, I started taking part in a lot of like musicals. So I danced and sang and did all that stuff too. And then we moved to Maryland when I was 16. So I'm sorry, to North Carolina from Maryland. And I kind of had to switch it up because we didn't have the same, I had to leave the children's choir behind and all that. So some friends and I started an alternative pop rock band. And if you guys remember Paramore, that's kind of like Imagine that is the vibe. And it was so much fun. That was like the latter part of my teenage years was spent doing that. And also still musicals and things. But when I got to college, I decided I'm going to take a step back from music, because if I do music, I want it to be on my own terms. So I did journalism, broadcast journalism, and I loved it. Yeah. So, and I had a great time. I went to Chapel Hill. It was an amazing, school experience. And then, of course, by the time I got out, I wasn't passionate enough to pursue journalism. And
Same.
I, yeah, I mean, it's cutthroat. And then also you've got to be okay with moving to like the middle of nowhere, somewhere in the Midwest, and taking a job, working nights, and like,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I loved this part, which was like interviewing people, talking to people, learning their stories, but it really didn't interest me to be like standing on the side of the road at 3 a.m. reporting on some kind of a crash or something like that. So anyway, so I became a leasing agent at an apartment complex in Raleigh for like a year. And while I figured out what else I wanted to do, and while I was there, I remember I used my first like big girl tax return from my first real job to buy like pretty rudimentary recording equipment for to record stuff like to my computer.
Uh-huh.
And it kind of went from there. So that kind of collides with when I met Tyler. I built up my repertoire enough to start kind of playing music full time, or at least to gig, I should say. I wasn't ready to go full time yet. But Mark is Tyler's little brother, and he and I graduated from high school the same year. And he reached out on Facebook one day and was like, "Hey, my brother's also doing music. Like, you guys should collaborate, or, you know."
Get married.
Wow.
No, I was like 23 or 24 at the time. So I was like, you know.
I shuddered.
Yeah, Ty is 5 years older than me. So that's why Mark and I knew each other, but I didn't know Tyler. So anyway, I was like, yeah, like open to whatever experiences. We ended up getting together like maybe a year later, and I came over to his house and we kind of like jammed and played some music and just like talked. I actually didn't know he was blind until I like got over there and started talking to him. And he was like, "By the way, Mark probably told you that I can't see." And I was like, "Really?" So, you know, but yeah, Tyler, you want to keep the story going? I feel like
that's the story.
that's the beginning. And then, you know, from there, we started playing gigs together. I opened up for he had like a blues rock band at the time, and I was playing a lot of just like acoustic solo stuff. So I would get up on stage and play with them, or I would open up for them. And then eventually Tyler and I started writing together. And so we came up with a few songs, and, you know, the rest is history.
So what kind of led you guys into like the Americana folk rock direction?
That's Emma.
Yeah, that's like, I guess that's where my heart and soul for music is a little bit, because like I said, I'm from Texas, so my first love was country music, and Americana is almost just like this nuance subgenre of country in a way, and I don't know, there's something about it, the storytelling, the feeling, the rhythms involved, like I just love that world.
Who would you say is like your biggest musical inspiration in that genre?
We love Jason Isbell and like Brandi Carlile. I love Brandi Carlile. We like Tyler Childers a lot lately. Who else? I mean, but you know, go ahead.
The popular ones that like kind of remade what folk could be in terms of pop music, or like the Lumineers and Mumford & Sons.
Yeah, that's true.
So like really appreciate that side of things.
Yeah. And I would say too, we have like when we play long gigs, when we're kind of just playing a lot of covers and mixing our originals involved in there as well. We play a lot of like classic Southern rock or classic rock, like Allman Brothers or Leonard Skinner, or you know what I mean? So that's kind of like the other part of the origination of that genre is the rock side of things, and we really love that stuff too.
That's awesome.
What else do you have for us, Lauren?
Well, I know that your latest single, Roanoke River, which This going to make me sound so dumb. Roanoke River. That's not Roanoke, Virginia. A river doesn't flow through.
Yes, it does.
It does really?
Yes.
I've
So the Roanoke River is in the, correct me if I'm wrong, it runs through the Blue Ridge Mountains, correct?
okay.
Or it does come from Virginia into North Carolina. So yes, it does have a
Yeah.
tie
Well, that is so
to
crazy.
Roanoke. So
Yeah, because when I
Yeah.
saw that song, I was like, because I love Daddy's Daughter, and then like I knew from being in my community and wanting to bring it to my new community, but then I was like, oh my gosh, they have a song Roanoke River, and we're 30 minutes away from Roanoke, so it's destiny
Yeah.
that they have to
there
be
you
here.
go.
And so that's really cool that was the same thing. Okay, but I was just curious
Yes.
about the story behind your latest song Roanoke River.
So doesn't it run all the way to
Like the eastern.
Roanoke, the island, basically?
I don't know if that's where it leads, but it definitely does go through like the northeastern part of North Carolina as well.
Mhm. Yes.
Well, so this is where,
funny story.
yeah, this is where you got to be careful about how you look too closely at how the sausage is made. So we were out in Nashville writing this song, and we had like the storyline, but we needed something that was going to sound right, and it was like it needed to have three
3
syllables.
syllables. Yeah.
Needed to be like in a place that could be relevant to the antebellum South, because that's when the story takes place.
Uh-huh.
And so we had to search around to find something that was good.
Uh-huh.
Now we had currently never been to the Roanoke River when we wrote the song, but since then we have made our
Yeah.
pilgrimage.
Before
We went to visit the banks. of the river.
it was funny because it was during COVID that we were like getting ready to release it. And so nobody was doing anything. And Tyler and I had found this new love for like just getting in the car and like going somewhere new
Mhm.
and like, going on a hike or like just exploring, because really there was nothing else to do. So we were like, okay, we have to take some promo pictures for this. Like, why don't we just go find the Roanoke River somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whether it's North Carolina or Virginia, like we've
Yep.
got to find it. So we did. It was in Roanoke
Yeah.
that I think we ended up taking the pictures. There was this really nice park, like public park, and it ran alongside it for a while. And we kind of like climbed down the banks. And I'm wearing a dress, and we had our dogs with us, so we had to like tie them to a tree and put my camera on self timer. And we were like, okay, now we can say
You've been.
we've been there and we've taken pictures. It was really funny. But yeah, during the songwriting process, I had my phone out and we were just Googling like all the rivers in our area or in Virginia.
Yeah.
And Roanoke was like, oh, that sounds like it fits the song, like for sure. So we were really leaning into that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, Google states that the Roanoke River Basin begins in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia and ends in the Albemarle Sound of North Carolina. So it does flow through Roanoke, Salem.
Wow.
It says that parts of it or back creeks of it also flow into Bedford. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
That's
Cool. That's awesome.
So we do have a tie to the
There
song.
we go.
That's right. It's meant to be.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your process for writing your music. What does that look like?
Do you want to take this one out? Or?
Yeah, I feel like I've talked a lot. That's the
Okay.
tendency. I try to be really careful.
Okay. It's just different. Those 3 songs that we've put out so far, we wrote with some folks out in Nashville. So it was like your standard writing room with a few writers, and you try to knock out a demo in about 4 hours.
Yeah.
But moving forward, producing music in Nashville is expensive, and you get really high quality stuff, but you have to get some return on that investment. So what we've been trying to do is figure out how to get better at the production side of stuff so we don't have to pay for as much of it.
Uh-huh.
All that to say, we've been trying to do a lot more stuff in-house. So we have a buddy, William Neesmith, that we've been writing a bunch with in the past few months. Like Emma and I write separately a lot too, but we're trying to kind of recreate the Nashville thing here in our home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we'll sit together for 3 hours and just try to come up with something that's like catchy and feels like it's keepable, savable. And then usually I'm kind of the one that does more of the production side of stuff. So I'll demo some things, throw some guitars, and I don't really play keyboard, so I figure out how to get some fake keyboard in there, and then come back to the group, and we're following basically me on the production side, but then Emma on the vocal melody side, because she's the one that ultimately is going to be singing most of the melody parts in these songs. So
Great.
Yeah.
Emma, do you
you
have
can
anything to
add.
Um, well, in the past, Tyler and I have had this like since the very beginning. We worked best together. We realized when like I would write a chunk of a song and then send it to Tyler and be like, "Hey, just do whatever you think feels right with this. Add more, change the whatever, change the melody, change the phrasing." And then he would come up with something and then send it back to me, and I would jam on it by myself for a little bit, record. So we had this like, we called it pen pal style way of writing, where it was like we each got to take our own separate time and space with the song, and that was kind of cool too. We have some stuff that we've written that way that is special because it's very much like a culmination of both of our styles.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and then there's some stuff that like primarily Tyler writes or primarily I write, and then we try and finesse it. We've learned over the past like decade how to be good at taking like a lot of criticism from each other, because we respect each other's opinion a lot.
And we have to eat dinner together.
And then we have to, raise a family together.
Yeah.
So you can't really leave it at the door.
Right.
So that has been that's been a good like life lesson for us too.
That's awesome. Is there a story behind your name, Ghosts of Liberty? How did that come about?
We were working with a guy in Nashville who was kind of coaching us through thinking of our band in terms of like a business. Like, suppose it's a pizza restaurant. This is how you would open up a pizza restaurant. He's like, well, I know how to open up a band. And so he pushed us for like months.
Yeah.
On the band.
Yeah. And we would send him stuff and he'd reject it and be like, it's good, but it's not great.
Yeah.
And so eventually we ended up, we both love ghost stories. Emma is a true believer and I am a true denier. But we still like both love like scary movies and ghost stories and things like that.
That's like my cocktail party go-to. He's like, hey, do you have any real true ghost stories?
We might be able to share some with you here at the Bauer Center.
Oh, see, that a lot of cool old theaters have them, and I'm like, let's talk about it. Like,
well, there you go.
Let's not leave out the punchline of each story. Whoever it is that tells the story will finish it, and then Emma will turn to me and say, "Are you calling them a liar?"
Yeah, see?
Like,
I'm like, see, so it must be true, Tyler. Like, they experienced that firsthand.
So that's how we got the ghost part of it.
Uh-huh.
And then the ghosts we were like, the ghosts of something. What could it be?
Yeah.
Just like pick street names around here. We just went through a million things.
We went through all the counties we grew up in around the country. Like, we were like, what cool word would work there?
Yes. Yeah.
But then we both love history as well, which is how you end up with the Roanoke River song later down the line. And so it was like, oh, the Ghosts of Liberty. That sounds kind of, 1700s.
Historical. And then one day we were working on a song, and we had a vocal coach on like a Zoom meeting with us, and this was before we recorded one of our songs. I can't remember which. And I kept singing it. And one of the things I am notorious for doing is kind of like adding a different riff or adding a different melodically changing it a little bit each time. Like, I never sing something exactly the same way twice, because I just get bored and I have to switch it up. And I think they were like encouraging me to like pull it in a little bit. And Tyler said something about like,
Lady Liberty.
You're just Lady Liberty over there. Taking liberties with the song.
There you go.
Yeah. And so we were like, wait a minute, the Ghosts of Liberty. So that kind of has a 2-part meaning, which is really funny.
That's awesome. Yeah. So interestingly enough, Bedford was originally called Liberty. So the town name.
Look at all the
So
ties.
little history, some nice ties there.
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah. So before we start to wrap things up, tell us what guests can expect at your performance.
I'll go because
Okay.
I felt myself back long enough.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of this. Like we, from the beginning, even before we were dating, we were friends and we would play gigs together. We joke with each other a lot. We tell a lot of stories about our life or our songs. We love a crowd. We love like meeting people, talking to new people. I take a lot of requests when I'm playing solo. So, we love the crowd engagement factor, and a show like this where people are coming to listen is like so special. Because we feel like you get the opportunity to really like share with them.
Right.
So we love it. We're excited.
And we come from the world of playing 3 hours at like wineries.
Uh-huh.
And so we're used to having to fill time and trying to keep people interested. So we actually will play a bunch of our own music, but we'll play a good number of covers that people will know and can sing along to.
Awesome.
Too.
Yeah. Well, great.
And this time, what's cool is Tyler's dad is actually like a super talented keyboardist, and he plays with us quite a bit. And he was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing on Saturday? What's that Bauer Center performance thing? Like, can I come?" And we're like, "Yeah," because he adds so much to the performance. So we're excited. We're gonna be a trio instead of a duo like we originally anticipated.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Ty and I play guitar, and Rich plays keys, and then sometimes we do 3-part harmonies and stuff. So it's really fun.
Oh, that's going to be great. Well, we're really looking forward to having you. We're so excited. We hope that our listeners will take advantage of getting their tickets. We're actually offering a special promo or gift to our listeners. So we're offering a $5 discount on advance tickets to the first 10 listeners who register online and use the promo code in all caps podcast at their checkout. So 10 listeners, get on BauerCenter.org, buy your tickets, and get a $5 discount. Our advance tickets can be purchased at BauerCenter.org and LynchburgTickets.com, but the promo code's only good at the Bauer Center website. So we hope that some folks will take advantage of that. And advance tickets are regularly $20 and $25 at the door. So we're really excited. The performance will start around 6. We usually open doors about 5:15, 5:30 for guests to come in. And we're really just looking forward to hosting you.
We are so excited. Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you this weekend.
Awesome.
See you then.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.